Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we've got another DevOps video. It's been a long time since we've done one, but I've had a new question from a developer, which is basically this. They've asked, we want to validate a particular commit exists in one of the repositories that we're checking out during a build pipeline. Let's just jump over into Azure DevOps and we'll take a look at one of the ways, or the way that I've implemented on how I go about solving this. Okay, cool. So here we are in Azure DevOps. You might recognize this from the previous Azure DevOps video I did about checking out multiple repositories. So I'm just going to borrow that for this demo. You can see here, what I've done is I've added a task here. It's just a PowerShell task and it's part of the pipeline itself. I'll step through what this does and we'll just take a look at the task in action. But I've given it the PowerShell task here an arbitrary name. For checking for an expected ID, commit ID. The task's running in line, so I'm not calling any other script. So here's the script right underneath it. I'm passing in two variables, so this would be what you'd edit if you're doing this in your own environment. So the name of the repository itself, which I'm checking out in these earlier steps. And this is the repo here that we're checking against. And I'm looking for this specific commit ID, and essentially if this isn't the commit ID that gets checked out, then I'm going to abandon the build. You might wonder why you're looking for this, and the scenario that I've actually been asked about is to do with PCI compliance. So imagine that this repository that we're checking out is related to card payments, and we want to validate that that repository hasn't changed. So if that repository does get updated, then we're going to have to come and update the script, so it's all very deliberate. The rest of the script is just exactly what I've described. We're passing in the commit ID of the repository that we checked out on this line here. We're writing some information to the screen, so when it runs we can see what's going on. And then there's just that if statement. So if the commit doesn't match, then we're going to exit with an error code of 1, which is going to abandon the pipeline. And if it does match, then we're going to proceed with the build. So let's take a look at this in action. What I'm going to do is just edit this to kick off an automated build. So let's just, I guess, chuck a comment in here. Cool, okay, so that should kick off a build. We'll jump over and hopefully see that build succeed. If the build's queued up, we'll just speed it along in the edit. And we'll take a look. Bear with me just a sec, here we go. Okay, cool, so that all ran successfully, and you can see the things that we wrote out to the console there. So the expected commit ID is the variable that I passed in, which is this one here, and we can see that it matches the commit ID for that repository, and therefore we're going to proceed with the build. I just want to show you an example of it doing what we expect it to do, so I'm going to jump back to the repo and I'll just edit it in the browser here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to update the commit ID to something else. So let's say that we're expecting, I'll just change that to a C. So we're expecting a slightly different commit ID. But in reality, in the background, let's say that repository has been updated and we didn't expect it to. Someone pushed directly to that branch or accepted a pull request when they shouldn't have. And then hopefully if we jump back to the pipeline, what we should see is that when the build gets to that stage, and I'll just speed this along. Okay, perfect. So that's what we expected to happen. So we've got a mismatch here if the logs actually want to load. There we go. So we're expecting this build ID, which I edited, and we got that one. So the two IDs are not matching, so we're abandoning the build. And that's exactly what we wanted to see. And we've got a build failure, which in turn will notify depending on the notifications you've got set up, it will notify the appropriate people that you've had a build failure, and we can go and investigate why that is. That's all I wanted to share with you today. If you do have any real world scenarios that you want me to investigate and try and solve and share a solution, I'm sure there's usually many, then let me know in the comments what you're looking to solve. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next week.